have known you now for 20 years, like since you did the songs in 1942, A Love Story. And when I read about you in the papers, I find it hard, Sanjay, to kind of reconcile that man in the papers with the man I was friends with 20 years ago. So I figured let's sit down and sort of separate this myth from the man as much as we can. So let's do the sort of SLB folklore or the kind of the myths around you, which are like frankly quite amazing. Number one is the poster child of tortured artist, poetic, mercurial, short-tempered, angst. You know, in your interviews you say, I have so much anger and angst, but from what I remember, we used to just laugh. I mean, I remember my visual of the two of us was giggling.
But does it mean that I don't have angst? Does it mean that I would not be a person with a certain tortured past or whatever? Is there the similarity?
But has success made it worse?
No, but no. I have. I love laughing. I like
and you
people,
still giggle as much?
Oh, I like people with wit and a sense of humor. They're very important. Even if I'm doing the most intense scene, for example, I'm doing a scene where Rani is asking Amitjit that, I need to experience what love is. Say, for you, please make love to me. But Rani, me, and we are only cracking up and falling down and laughing and doing an intense scene because it's very important humor. But yes, all that baggage that comes from childhood to what you are and therefore what you become and therefore what shapes your personality and your mind and your responses to the outer world because of what you have received from the outer world, that remains intact. So, but I'm far more evolved now, far more comfortable with life now, far more sensible now. So I think I've broken the myth enough for you.
No, but you talked about, in some interview I read recently about how, you said I'm a very insecure person and that comes from whatever happened in my childhood and from me being the ugliest cousin. First of all, you're very nice looking, so don't go into this ugly cousin number, okay?
No, but it's a fact. It's a fact. They were also good looking and they would hardly look at me, and then I would be the one who trying to say, can you play with me? Can you talk to me? Can you reach out? And there would be no response. So I used to wonder, do I exist? Do I not exist? That's a very, very big question in a mind that starts shaping up early in your life and say, they're not responding to me. They don't want to reach out to me, or for them I don't exist. That's a scary thought.
Sanjay, doesn't the success, and you've had so much, give you security?
I think what is imprinted on the mind, what stays with you in the formative years, that's why they're called the formative years, because they form you what you are. It's very difficult to wipe that out, erase it out, to remove it from your mind, from the essence of your being. It's difficult. It keeps haunting you, it keeps coming, especially if a person like me who absorbs everything. If I'll sit with you, I will absorb your way of thinking, your questioning, the way you are, the way you operate, the way you... So I'm a person who absorbs. So I've absorbed so much in life that for me to erase it, it's difficult.
That core remains.
It remains, and it should remain. I feel that's the monies, people make films with monies or the budgets, or I make my film with that. That's what stimulates me. That's what eggs me on. That's what gives me that madness to go and achieve much more than what I can to maybe prove a point to the world or get more love or to get accepted. So I feel like that I'll never let go. That remains with me and it will remain till the end.
Monies are another thing that has become attached to you because the SLB logo is now shorthand for spectacle, right? There are the stars. It's so beautiful visually. It's just so astounding. And there's always such a drama about the making of the film, as much drama as there is in the film. I remember Devdas 260 days of shooting over 2.5 years with Bajirao Mastani. Every time I meet Ranveer, I'm like, are you done? No, he wants one more close-up. So Sanjay, how much of this is a filmmaker's grand passion? And you yourself have called your films Taj Mahal. And how much is a filmmaker indulgent and also maybe just enamored with this world he's created?
No, for me it is something that I have been told as a child. Mughalism. My father would take me every time Mughal Azam would release, every year once for some 2 weeks, 1 week in between in Alankar Talkies.
You saw it every time?
Near Grant Road. So I would be dragged and taken to Mughal Azam, and I had to sit over there, and he kept saying, Bade Ghulam Ali Khan sab ko suno, Lata ji ko suno kaise gaye wo, Naushad sab ka music dekho. So I think somewhere in those days is what actually formed what cinema is. That's where it started forming in my mind, very, very, very early. I had to see Janak Janak Payal Baje, even if I wanted to see Jab Jab Phool Khile, which was a nice, romantic, frothy musical. No, Janak Janak Payal Baje. So I was trained into seeing films like that, connecting to films like that. I feel if I'm making a period film, if I'm making a historical, or I'm making Devdas, which I'm interpreting it in a certain way, then I don't indulge. That's what I want. That's the part of my filmmaking. Even if I'm making black, my sets, even if they look crammy and small, but are elaborate sets, because I get suffocated in small places. It's again a thing of the past. Because as a child, I would only keep pushing walls in my mind. It had to be pushed away so that there is space to breathe. So that comes from, claustrophobia comes from there. So for me, it's not about only spending money. You should also know when to spend money, how to spend money, and justify it. I could be a very middle class person in my behavior or my upbringing, but when I make a film, I make it like a king.
You are referencing Mughal Azam a lot in Bajirao Mastani, aren't you?
Yes.
Is it like homage to what you saw as a child?
That's all you can do with a film like Mughal Azam, because you can never reach its brilliance, its excellence. It's a film made by God, I think. But yes, today, if you want to keep that legacy alive and you want to have somebody getting up and saying, okay, that is also a part of Bollywood filmmaking. It's just not films inspired by Korean and French and Spanish cinema or parallel cinema, which goes into small lanes and shoots films in slums, which is also very interesting, which is great work. But what about the legacy that K. Asif Saab, Mehboob Khan Saab, B. Shantaram, Raj Kapoor, they're also very, very important part of what Bollywood means, to at least to us, not to the world. I don't know how they look at Bollywood. And to be able to make a film in that zone with these masters having left such great work behind, that at least there's somebody to imbibe it, keep it alive. Something of the culture should remain. I mean, if you look at the music of Bajirao Mastani today, at a time when Sufi rock and Sufi pop and all that is happening, I don't know what all is happening. I've gone into a completely classical score, and that's connected to the youth immensely. People are very fond of the music. So I feel that I think our roots, people connect to it immediately, to what belongs to us primarily. It's just that we feel that, oh, it's too old-fashioned to make a film like that, or it's too much in the past, and etc., etc., etc. But yeah, I feel Mughal Azam is such a deep influence on me. I get enamored, and I've seen it some 18 times with my father, and another 6-7 times over the years. So it's a great piece of work.
Sanjay, you are such a staggering visual artist. You know, the line I read most often in reviews of your films is always, every frame is like a painting. But tell me, and I'm sure that you design everything, like down to the last sort of bird flying in one direction. So tell me, when you direct and you control so completely, where is the room then for spontaneity or for an instinct, for any kind of gut level? How does that work out? How do you balance those?
I never create my frames on a storyboard.
You don't storyboard at all?
At all. I am designing a set, and I know in my mind this is how the set has to evolve. On that set, where do we place the camera, and therefore my shot division operates because the set is made. I do my shot division only after that. I select the costumes only after I have colored the set, so that I know that it all blends correctly or stands out in contrast correctly. I'm all the time changing what is on paper in one day before, and the actors have received it, and the next day the actors in the morning when they come out of the van have another paper. So they run back into the van and say, no, we have to manage. I said, be spontaneous, just come out, just say what I'm...
Is that what made Priyanka cry?
And most of them.
Do you like make them all cry the first day because Ranveer was saying Priyanka just the first day. She was just like, okay, I can't handle it.
I like to suddenly play that scene at that moment. What is happening to me? What
So you
is
create
space
right
to-
there.
right there. And if I have to wait for 2 hours now after I've reacted to the space and say, okay, now change that color over there or change that thing over there, then that's how you do it. But but I sit on the set when it's being made for hours and hours and days together because I feel that space is what is going to make me do a scene. Even if it's an actual location, I keep going there, sitting over there, not drawing, not writing. I don't like to do all that. A scene has to emerge on its own at that point of time. By the time the actors come, in their costumes, in their clothes, everything is in place, it feels different from what you were doing when you were writing in a room alone in your mind.
The chemistry changes.
It completely changes. So how do you hold on to a shot division and say no? And every time, even if I tell my cameraman, we'll tomorrow take this shot, light up this area, and the next morning I'm saying, no, 1 second. He's late, and I'm saying, no, we have to light up. I will start from here. I operate completely on spontaneous reaction to what I do, and everybody is in for a toss. They get completely.
So they come in knowing कि कुछ तो हिलाने वाला है.
Yeah, by now, and every 15 minutes or later, a page goes into the makeup van for the actors. The comma is changed, the dialogue. This I've learned from Vinod Chopra. So every half an hour, some change paper goes into it, and it goes into. How many changes are we going to have? So now they've stopped. After last 15, 20, 2 months, they said now bunk the paper. Now you tell us when we come on there. There's no point.
And you sit behind the monitor, chewing on popcorn, looking at your scene.
Popcorn. I need my peanuts, my sing chana. I need all the riff-raff in the world. It's important. But it keeps me occupied, and I talk less. Therefore, I keep eating because sometimes I get angry. So quickly stuff the mouth.
I should try that with Vinod. You just keep eating. If you have something in your mouth, you can't stop.
Yeah,
oh my God, that's amazing. Who suggested that to you?
I found it on my own because I had too much of anger and on-mindedness. So I have to keep. My chewing gum is one of my big major reasons for it. To keep quiet and to keep quiet and to keep chewing. Sometimes you get angry, so you keep chewing harder, and then you say, okay, let it be, and then put another one. So it keeps you occupied. It takes away a lot of your unnecessary expression, which might hurt people, might disappoint people, might not find people. They might get rattled. They don't operate with their full power because they get scared or whatever. So it's best to keep quiet and praise them for what is not right, but tell them to do it one more time so that we can get it a little
but Ranveer said he did this whole shot, and after that you looked at him and said, "You're boring the shit out of me." I just died laughing. What does an actor react with?
I just can tell anything to Ranveer. Ranveer is such an important part of my expression for the last 4 years, and he's doing everything that I've always wanted to do for a character, and he does it effortlessly. He is such a prolific actor, and of course, on the front is this playful.
The court jester.
Court jester.
All the
He's
time.
all the time fooling around, but he is a prolific actor. But he goes to some other levels, and I could make him do anything. Remove a shot and do and he can do it. Very intense scene at the same time. Everything. But I have a great rapport with him to be able to tell him that, look, don't bore me. I get bored. If I get bored, the audience gets bored. So I don't want to mince words. Speed it up, tell it fast to me and mean it what you say. Because just doing all that doesn't make me become getting tears in your eyes, getting your eyes welled up is not everything. You have to feel it. Let our eyes get welled up, no? Why your eyes have to get welled? But I have a great equation with him, a great chemistry with him. With Priyanka, I have a great chemistry.
I was just looking at your movies and the kind of tropes that are in your films, the things that you love. So the one thing that you do seem to love is the triangle. The Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, Devdas, now Baji Rao Mastani, this kind of Radha, Meera, Lord Krishna. What is the enduring fascination of this?
Love stories, when they get entangled and you still want to keep loving whether you get the person or you don't get the person, and your love still remains pure, fascinates me. That part of the triangle which doesn't get completed, I mean, there are two people who come together and one person does that person still keep loving the person he was? I feel these are all tests of in real life also which give us strength of character. Are we bitter? Are we upset with life and said no more love, I don't want to be in love, I have had enough of it? To find, my cinema is not about social reform. My cinema is not about telling the world that this is an issue and we're going to change it and we're going to do it through a comedy or through an intense film or through whatever. My film is about personal crisis. It's about personal suffering. So therefore it doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, because it says, yeah, but it talks about one person and it doesn't really mean. But for me, it's Guru Dutt cinema was about mainly a personal suffering rather than a social reform. V. Shantaram did social reform and spoke about issues. I can't make films on social issues. And love stories are very difficult to tell. So,
but the three is what's fascinating.
Yeah. But if two people just get together and skip into the horizon and complete the film and it's the end, I get bored of it. Forget it. It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't linger in my mind. And it's just that I'm lingering on to my sad stories, or I only tell sad stories, or.
But there's no complexity.
It's more about love. It's about shringar, and pain is a part of that shringar that we talk about. That there should be pain when there is love, and otherwise it's just all sunshine, and you get bored with sunshine. You want the night. You want a soul. You want to see a star somewhere shining alone in the sky. It's very important.
We all talk so much about the Yash Chopra heroine. I think there's also a Sanjay Leela Bhansali heroine. I think this woman is beautiful and spirited and passionate and different from the standard.
My heroines are born out of, if there was a marriage between Guru Dutt and Meena Kumari, their daughter would be my heroines. She's that delicate.
She's that woman.
That woman. If they had a child and that was a girl, my heroines are their daughters. So I feel that certain personality traits, certain intensity, certain it's very unusual. Meena Kumari was a goddess, and the kind of intensity and lyricism and poetry and self-destructiveness and the kind of strength to endure pain and all that comes into my heroines. I want all my heroines to be like Meena Kumari. A lot of my male actors, even if they're far more expressive, they emerge out of my connect to Guru Dutt and my love for him and my understanding of him. So yeah. So they're not my...
That's who they are. The love child
of Guru Dutt and Meena Kumari.
I remember coming to interview you in Paris, and we talked about Sanvaria, and of course the film hadn't done well, and there was this very sort of insane and sort of vicious kind of backlash against it. But when we talked, you said to me that yes, the criticism did get personal, but it has made me very strong. So did that film, has it really made you sort of able to handle anything? You know, what happened with that film?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you have fought all your life and you've been a fighter, because circumstances have always been that you had to fight to achieve what you want to. Khamoshi was the first box office failure in my life, and it was the first film I made. And that Friday when Siptya Singh Rizvi, the executive producer on that film, called me up and said, "Picture baith gayi." I said, "Kaun baith gayi?" I didn't understand that language, baith gayi. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. He said, "People are breaking theatres, they're breaking the chairs, they're burning the seats. Our film is a colossal flop. They're calling it the Raza Sultan of the 90s. So I put the phone, I said, "God bless you, thank you." After that Fridays, I don't pick up the phone, ever. But that first film itself taught me so much. I immediately got all my strength and just stood straight, because you can break down, you can just collapse,
brutal,
you just don't know what to do. When Savare came also, it became, I couldn't believe what was happening. It was nasty, it was vicious, it was trying to destroy one opportunity that we've got to destroy a mind that made Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, Black, Devdas. ये मिल गया हमको हाथ में, उसको ख़त्म कर दो. That became very scary for me, but also made me very strong, because by God's grace I had this opportunity to go off to Paris just 1 month after that, and I got rejuvenated. I did the most elaborate opera that I could do with all I wanted to do on the stage.
There was an elephant on stage.
And a little tiger that came in, and a python that came in, and those 180 musicians and 100 singers. I had a blast. And it just rejuvenated me, and I realized that failure is not supposed for me to get bitter. It's for them to realize what they are doing. I mean, there was a time when they said on the FilmFeb show, that event, and said, let's have the nominees for the best 4 films, and they played Savare, and then the host over there said, but no, not this film, the best 4 films of the year. It had reached that level in the name of humor. And I said, let it be, it doesn't really matter. I got on to make a Guzarish, which was my telling the world that I am as strong as ever, because I'm making a film with Hrithik Roshan on a bed with only his neck moving. Somebody who people expect to see as a Greek god, dancing, singing, romancing, whatever. I said, I'm doing that film. They said, it's Harakiri. I said, it doesn't matter. It is the end, I don't care. I'll make what I feel like making right now, and I will do and do it my way. And then from there on, I just got immense confidence, immense reason again, that maybe that angst that I had gotten over with, achieving Black, Humbil, Devdas and all that, I got my, what is the right word for it? I got my ammunition back. What is the right word for it?
Well, your hero calls it his tank of angst.
That is it.
That's what Ranveer says. My tank of angst.
वो refuel हो गया. It gave me so much power to come back and say, I do it now and just watch how I do it. And I'm doing what I want to do. I'm doing Ram Leela. I'm doing Bajirao Mastani, which is the most expensive film made. For all those who thought they could destroy me, I'm made of iron and steel. You know, when life teaches you so much, right from that Bhindi Bazaar Bhuleshwar corner to finding all the way one Vinod Chopra who changes your life, to finding all the way to survive through it, life is not enough to be for me to be giving up on films or getting bitter or cracking up. It's very important to learn to take failure. Failure is very, very important. Just success, and I'm very happy that there are lots of people who do not connect to my work, which I think I love a lot. But it's important. You've never liked my work so much as you would have liked X's or Y's work. But I appreciate and understand what is she trying to say. She's trying to connect to something. She's trying to say something. The day you get vicious, I'll pick up the phone and really scream at you, because I'll say that this is not done. You can't do this. But so far I feel you've been, in your own right, have evaluated my work in a certain way. I may not agree with it, but I don't have to disagree with it. But I think it's very important to learn how to take criticism and failure. Otherwise, how do you make movies?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Subscribe to Film Companion, hit that button below and get your film fix.